The snowstorm hit Colorado harder than anyone expected. Evelyn Brooks, a hard-working housekeeper at a private mountain lodge, was preparing to lock up for the night when she noticed headlights flickering through the thick curtain of snow. Moments later, a group of weary travelers appeared, struggling against the freezing wind. Without hesitation, Evelyn rushed to open the door and guided them inside. They introduced themselves briefly, 15 in total, including a calm, well-spoken 40-year-old man who seemed to be their informal leader. Their convoy had slipped off the icy road while returning from an exclusive investment retreat. The lodge wasn't ready for guests, it was undergoing renovation, half-finished walls and patchy heating making the place far from welcoming. Still, Evelyn worked tirelessly. She lit the fireplace, heated soup, handed out blankets, and apologized for the conditions. The group listened with gratitude instead of complaint. The 40-year-old man watched her selflessness with growing respect, noting how she checked on everyone before thinking of herself. As the storm intensified outside, Evelyn even offered her own warm room to an elderly guest and settled for a wooden bench for the night. She had no idea that her kindness would soon transform her life in ways she couldn't imagine. When morning arrived, the storm had softened into quiet sunlight scattered across the snow-covered mountains. Evelyn woke early, prepared coffee, and expected the unexpected guests to leave soon. Instead, she found all 15 gathered in the main room, speaking seriously. The 40-year-old man stepped forward, his expression warm but determined. He thanked her for her kindness, insisting that she had saved them in a moment of real danger. Evelyn brushed it off, saying anyone would have done the same, but the group disagreed. They asked her to step outside for a moment while they discussed something privately. Confused, Evelyn waited on the porch, watching the steam rise from her breath in the cold air. When she returned, the man handed her an envelope. Inside was a handwritten note of gratitude, and a check so large she felt dizzy. But that was only the beginning. The group explained that, now that phone service had returned, they had already called their assistants, their companies, and their foundations. They wanted to help her in a way that matched the humanity she showed them. Evelyn stood speechless as they revealed their plan, unaware that the gratitude of 15 millionaires was about to bring an entire mountainside to life. Within an hour, Evelyn began hearing a low rumble echoing through the mountains. At first she thought it was the wind returning, but the sound grew louder, steadier, almost rhythmic. When she stepped onto the porch, her breath caught. A long line of vehicles, SUVs, black sedans, limousines, and corporate cars, snaked up the snowy road. One after another, they parked in organized rows until the entire mountainside seemed full. 135 cars had arrived. Assistants, executives, architects, lawyers, and media teams stepped out carrying equipment, cameras, and folders. Evelyn turned to the 40-year-old man in disbelief. He gave a small smile. "We told you we wanted to do something big. This is just the start." Teams began setting up temporary workstations, heating tents, and drone cameras. Blueprints were rolled out on tables. Journalists adjusted microphones. The lodge suddenly looked like the center of a major project launch. The man explained that they intended to rebuild the entire mountainside lodge, fully funded, redesigned, staffed, and gifted to her. They also planned to create a scholarship fund in her name. Evelyn felt her knees weaken. She had spent her whole life cleaning homes. For others, never imagining a future like this. She covered her face, overwhelmed, as her life transformed in front of her eyes. By midday, the mountainside had transformed into a bustling hub of planning and construction. Engineers surveyed the foundation, designers sketched new layouts, and media teams prepared live broadcasts. Everywhere Evelyn turned, someone was calling her name, asking for her input, or showing her plans with Brooks Mountain Retreat printed boldly across the top. She could hardly recognize the life unfolding around her. News reporters arrived from Denver and beyond, filming the remarkable story of a housekeeper whose kindness had sparked a massive response from 15 influential millionaires. Cameras captured Evelyn standing beside the 40-year-old man as he publicly announced the project, a fully renovated lodge to be owned and directed by her, along with a scholarship fund in her name. Social media exploded with hashtags praising her compassion. But when the excitement quieted, Evelyn slipped out to the porch, sinking onto the wooden steps. Exhaustion mixed with disbelief. The 40-year-old man joined her, sitting silently for a moment before saying softly, "You reminded us what humanity looks like." His words warmed her more than the fading sunlight. As the sun dipped behind the snowy peaks, painting the mountains gold, Evelyn realized her life had changed forever. A single act of kindness had given her a future she never dared to dream.